Praise the Lord. My name is Esther Wambia. I love the Lord. I'm happy to be here once more just to talk about the same story. And it is not just a story, it is a reality of life. It is what happens to us every day. It is about our families, it's about our children, it's about our lives, it's about our homes. It is about our parents, it's about our brothers and sisters, it's about how life is supposed to go on. And when we look at the whole thing, this is actually the core place. This is the place where people either find their footing or lose it at the same time. So it is good for us to understand the families we come from, the families we are building, the families we are looking forward to, and be able to work on it and see how much we can do it. Last time I talked about managing a family, how a man is supposed to manage a family, because that is his core role. The Bible says that he's been given the work of being the head of the family, and so being the head of the family, you have to manage your family. You are like the manager, and there are many things you're supposed to do. And we discussed planning and direction and how it affects, the family, and what he's supposed to do when he is directing, and how he's supposed to plan a family. And today I want us to talk about something different, about the man, the main reasons why many marriages fail. And before we go there, I want us to see another management skill, or rather another management function of a man in the family. And I say this one is about financing. You are supposed to be a financier to the family. Financing does not mean that you do everything about the money coming into the family, but it means that you are supposed to be at the center of everything that is done in that family. Meaning that whatever it is that the family wants to do, whatever it is that the family wants to achieve, your hand must be there. Sometimes you have seen families where a man has relinquished his duties, has negated his duties, not able to do anything concerning anything in the family concerning the finances. And you find that sometimes the woman is the one who funds or finances the family, and there is always conflict, because that one is not a function that was given to the woman. And that's the reason why you find that some families, a woman is always complaining, is always, does not even understand, the importance of marriage, because she's been made in such a way that she's supposed to feel covered, she's supposed to be protected, she's supposed to be financed, she's supposed to feel provided for. And so in any marriage where a woman is not provided for, does not get that, financial function of the man, she feels neglected. And it doesn't matter how much the woman earns. The woman could be getting the most of the finances in that family, but that doesn't mean that the man negates his function of providing for the family. By that I mean you're supposed to be sitting with your wife, discussing finances and doing something, at least to get something into this family. You may not bring so much, but at least be seen to be working, be seen to be making an effort to be able to bring something into the family. One thing I've learned with the time is that authority comes with responsibility. And anytime somebody feels that I have authority over somebody else, then the responsibility of taking care of that very person you are, you have authority over, rests on you. So when you have authority over your wife, when you have authority over your children, in other words, if you have authority over your family, you are supposed to be responsible for that very family. You are supposed to make sure that whatever is done in that home, whatever is being discussed over finances, whether you have money or not, you're supposed to be in that meeting. You're supposed to be in that discussion. You're supposed to purport to be doing something. You're supposed to show an effort. You're supposed to make sure that whatever money is being spent, there is a shilling that is yours in that project. You cannot just afford to sit back and think that a woman would fund you, a woman would take care of everything. I am telling you, that is a time bomb. A time will come and this woman will not see the value of this man. And so what will happen is utawachwa kwa mataa mzee wewe. Wacha kukaa comfortably. Don't sit back and think that you are just okay. Ati sasa you married this woman, she's like a World Bank, she's providing everything, and you're just sitting there feeling very comfortable and very happy. I am telling you, that is just a time bomb. Why? Because God has not given that responsibility to the woman. He has not given the responsibility to the woman to do that. And that's the reason why there is always conflict and fighting whenever a woman provides. And that's the reason also why the woman will always count the things she's put before you. She will not just put things there and keep quiet. She will later on, ataanza kuhesabu, she will start counting, oh, I bought this, oh, I bought that, oh, I bought the other. Why do they count? Because that is not their responsibility. The responsibility of the woman has been spelled out very clearly by the word of God in Genesis 2. And so you cannot afford just to sit back there and feel comfortable. Let me tell you, man, you have a responsibility over your family. Finances, you are the one who is supposed to know where the finances are supposed to come from. And if you cannot be able to get all the finances that are required, or with what you have, sit with your spouse and discuss the need that you have in that family and make sure that that need has been taken care of. Whether the money will come from the woman or wherever other source it will come from, let that money come through you. Let not anybody else finance your family. And that is the reason why sometimes you find that there is infidelity because somebody else is doing the work that is not supposed to do. Maybe the needs of the finances that are supposed to be met in that home, you are not, you are not a man hands-on. You are not doing anything about it. It doesn't mean that you must have every shilling that is required, but at least be seen to be doing something. That is why I said the other day that if your children need school fees, you don't have to send them to uncles. You are the one who is supposed to make sure that they get these school fees. At least through from the uncles, but through you. You are the one who knows your brothers. You are the one who knows your brothers-in-law. You are the one who can ask for any money from anybody else other than your wife. You know, you can ask for that money, with your own arrangements. Don't send your children to your brother. Don't send your children to your brothers-in-law, asking them to go and tell them to give you money for school fees and all that. No, that arrangement is supposed to be between you and those other people outside there, so that you can be able to defend your name. You can be able to protect your name, because that name, hiyo jina ni kubwa. That name is big. It's supposed to be protected. Men, you can't afford just to sit there, doing nothing about finances. You cannot tell me that you're not working. You don't need to work. You only need to command. You only need to move out. You only need to talk. You only need to transact. You only need to make sure that you are inside that, project plan that is being done, so that you can be seen to be working. That is the work of a man. And so that is all about managing the family. And today I want us to look at the reasons why many marriages fail. And why they fail is because some of those things I'm talking about, finances and planning and all that and directing, there is something called conversation. There is communication here. I've talked about communication before, but today I want us to look at some functions of communication that really cause people to fail. And this communication is about actually it comes in even in the finances and all those other things I was talking about. And one of the communication function that makes the marriage to have problems in everything, is listening skills. Many times listening skills is a real issue. Many times we hardly have skills to listen. There are many people who have actually no listening skills. They cannot listen to anybody effectively. They cannot grasp what this person is talking. They cannot actually even read the mood of the conversation. And that is the reason why there is a problem. Because, when somebody is telling you something important, be it a man, be it a woman, be it one spouse or the other spouse, be it even your children telling the parents, or be it the parents telling the children, listening skills is very, very important. It's very, very important to listen to the spouse. Let me narrow down to the family, or rather to the husband and wife. Very, very important to listen to the spouse. It's very important for your spouse to feel, one, respected. It's good for your spouse to feel, two, honored, and three, loved. It's very, very important for the person communicating to you to be able to get full attention. Many times the person who speaks to us many times in the family, because we are used to each other until we are no longer respecting each other. You find that somebody is talking to you and you're just maybe scrolling on your phone. Somebody is talking to you and you're just in the kitchen trying to cook. Somebody is talking to you and you're just busy talking on the phone. You know, you are busy watching the TV. You are busy watching the ball. There's somebody on the TV is hitting the ball and you are like the one playing, and your spouse is talking to you and you're not listening. You are not even listening effectively. You are not giving attention. You look like it is a disturbance, you know. And that is where now the main problem comes in, because the things I've been talking about, like finances, if you are the man in the family and you're the one who's supposed to provide and you don't have money, and your spouse is talking to you and you're not listening, I can assure you, you're not going to be able to meet your needs in that family, especially if it is the woman providing. And whenever she's talking to you, you're always busy doing other things. Like, the time you start talking to her about finances, you'll be talking to yourself. Why? Because listening is very, very important. Whether somebody is saying something that you feel is nasty or something that is foolish or something that doesn't make sense to you, just listen. My brother, just listen. Listen. It doesn't cost you much to listen. But I'm telling you, in the midst of listening, you might grab something. And if you don't, this person will feel that he's honored. This person will feel that she's important or he's important. Whenever you talk to somebody and somebody does not listen to you, my friend, you feel that this person does not like you, or this person has no business with you, or this person is like you are a bother to this person. And the first thing you do is to withdraw from this person. And you can imagine in a family, a man withdrawing or a woman withdrawing. Believe you me, that family will just be malfunctional. Why? Because that conversation will end up there. It will actually end there. And that is the reason why you find that sometimes, you know, you talk to your spouse, and when your spouse ignores you, when that spouse comes up with the same subject, you are like, you've already switched off. You are no longer there. Ulitoka hapo, we uliendelea na maisha yako because alikuonyesha madharau. You know, this person did not show you respect. And anytime you ignore somebody, or anytime you don't listen to somebody, that is an automatic, you know, kind of madharau too. It doesn't augur well. And anybody who is sensible will not come out with that subject again. Ataifunga. So what I'm saying is, it is very important to listen to your spouse. Make sure you listen to your spouse every time your spouse wants to talk to you. Give that spouse time to listen. Why? Because who else will you give your time if you cannot give to your spouse? The most important person is your spouse. I'm telling you, in this world, the most important person is your spouse. Believe you me, you can have a very good job. You can have very good, you know, mambo mengi, things uko nje. But a time comes when all those things no longer make sense. The only person who makes sense is your spouse and your children. It is your family. What I mean is, your family is very, very important. And in fact, it's only that the enemy comes in to destroy the family. But I can assure you, the most important institution on earth is the family. And anytime there is a problem in the family, there is a problem everywhere. And you find that everybody is concerned. Why do you think that people talk about families everywhere? You know, go everywhere in the media, and you find that people are so concerned about a family. Everybody is thinking about a family. The church is talking about a family. You know, why do you think people just want to sit and talk about a family? Because it is the core holder of, you know, it is the one that makes people to consist together, to live together. And that is the institution that demonstrates the love of God, you know. That is the only place you can be able to see a replica of God, what God meant when he said, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son to die for our sins. And so he has given that responsibility of dying for others to the man. You know, the man is supposed to die for his wife. Actually, that is the reason why when the man, you know, when a man wants to marry a woman, and even the parents come out and say, don't marry that woman. And everybody stands out and say, that woman is bad. You'll be surprised the way that man will behave. That man would rather lose everybody around him, but he still remain with that woman. Why? Because what God put in this relationship, I can assure you it is eternal. It's supposed to remain, it's supposed to hold, it's supposed to be there, and it is not supposed to be interfered with. And that's the reason why we can be able to sit and discuss about family and think about a family. Because I am a married woman, I love my family, and I know what a family is. And without a family, I can assure you, you are the poorest person, even if you are the richest man on the earth. If you don't have a family, my friend, you are one of the poorest person on earth. Very important. It's good to understand our families mean literally everything. And that is why everybody, okay, when you go outside there and you have issues, you have problems, and even something happens to you, the people they'll ask for is, where is the family of this person? They don't ask for friends. They don't ask for people you eat with there. They don't ask for people you work with. Actually, they will not even if you got a problem at your place of work, they will not say, where is the manager? They will actually ask, who is the husband of this woman? Or who is the wife of this man? Or who are the parents of this person? Why? Because a family is actually everything in this world. So if you have been taking your family just mchezo, my friend, it's better you just get up, you just wake up, you just rise up and make sure that you honor and respect your family, because it's a very, very important thing. The reason why we talk about the family is because it is good. It brings the joy. It brings satisfaction. It is actually a place where you can be lifted, even when you feel like if the world is crumbling, even when you are there and nobody turns to see you, even when you are sick and it's like life is, everything is caving in, everything seems to come to an end. There is a family. The only people are left with is their own families. Their friends will get tired. Everybody else gets tired around you, and everybody feels that I've seen you enough, Especially when you have this terminal illness and you are sick for a very long time, you find that even the people who looked like they were so concerned, after some time they just get used to being, they just get used to your sickness. They no longer bother. But the people who will die with you, believe me, is your very family. The very family that you are, that you are called after is the family that will die with you. So what I'm saying is very important. Listen to your spouse. Listen to your children. Give them your time. Make sure that they feel you love them. They feel you honor them. They feel you value them. Attach a value into them. Attach a lot of value into your family by listening to them. Make sure whenever they want to talk to you, whenever they need your attention, you are there. Also, make sure that whenever there is a discussion, you agree with whatever you have discussed. And by this I mean, you agree the whole of sometimes you find that we have discussed maybe something with my husband, and I just say yes. But when he looks at me, he actually sees the whole body language is saying no. Sometimes, you can say no and say yes with your mouth, but the whole body language is saying no. It's very, very important to make sure that as you listen and as you get to hear what this spouse or whoever is talking to you, you are able to agree. If it is yes, let it be yes. Let the whole of you, even your body language, say it is yes. You should not look like you are being forced into anything. If it is no, make sure it is no, so that you can be able to resolve an issue at that point. But sometimes, you find that somebody says yes and somebody feels that I'm being forced to. No, don't say yes if you don't want to say yes. What I mean is that when there is communication, it's an open discussion. Listen very effectively. Say yes if you feel that this thing is going to work. But if it is not going to work, do not start a conversation of an issue that is going to bring a deeper conflict. It is better you resolve the conflict that's already there by saying no and solving it then, than saying yes to something that you're not going to deliver. Some of these things, actually, we've had them in marriages, and you find that somebody has already promised something he knows very well that is not going to deliver. And that one builds a problem. And that one also withdraws your spouse from future conversations. That means that anytime you are to discuss an issue, because any issue you discuss is not perfect, it's not perfected, or rather it is not done. We agree that this is what we are going to do, and you find that thing you have actually deliberately not done it. And if you are asked about it, it becomes a conflict. Next time we meet and discuss something else, you find that again you have deliberately refused to do it. And then when we talk about it, you feel like you are getting offended. What happens is that one spouse will withdraw. and the future conversations will be affected. That means that you will not be able to be sitting back and converse over any issue. You're not going to plan anything. You're not going to plan any project, and somebody withdraws totally out of those conversations. And this is what now causes a lot of deeper conflict in marriage, because whenever there is no communication, then you can imagine what kind of a marriage that one is. So it is very, very important for you, even as you listen effectively, make sure that if it is a no, it's a no, and if it is a yes, it's a yes, so that you can be able to move forward. You don't have to remain there, you don't have to discuss something twice. If possible, just avoid discussing something twice. If you have discussed something and agreed, make an effort to make sure that whatever you agreed is being done. Be it the woman, be it man. Make sure that whatever it is that you agreed is being done. And that one will solve a lot of future problems. And it will make you people to sit down and discuss future issues. By that I mean that you make sure that whatever it is you want to agree on, make sure you agree. Yani mnamalizana na kitu mara moja. You don't have anytime maybe your spouse comes up with an idea, you want to discuss that idea, you keep on telling the idea, pushing the idea forward. That procrastinating, making sure that thing is not being discussed. There are some people who fear some things being discussed. So maybe your spouse comes up with an idea or with something, and this is something that maybe this spouse is so passionate about, and asks you this thing this time in this meeting, and you are like, no, let us discuss in the next meeting. And the next meeting you say, oh, okay, I still remember, let us, that one is building up a problem. And some of the problems that we see, they are problems that have been, kept for a long time. Something that is supposed to have been done, or supposed to have been discussed, or supposed to have been concluded, but there is one spouse who keeps pushing it forward. Always handle issues conclusively before embarking on new ones. Do not tell me that we are starting a new issue today and we had an issue that was pending last time, and it's like you don't want us to discuss that issue and you want to bring a new issue or a new idea. It is very, very important to discuss ideas and issues conclusively in a meeting. And if it must be left pending, then it must be the first one to be embarked on the next meeting. You don't have to carry, or if you feel that this thing should not be done, do not buy time over that thing. Sometimes this buying time, brings a lot of issues and problems in families. You find that there are some people who are not ready to face out the problem. They have a problem facing, their spouses over issues. There are some men who also even fear their wives, or there are some women who fear their husbands. And you find that there is an issue you really want done, and when you go to discuss, you are pushing it, and it is eating you from within. And that is what happens, that's what happens when it comes to a time when now you burst out. You find that this person, you've been discussing issues, you've not been having any problem, and you're like, oh, we have been doing all these things well. And one time, just somebody bursts out, and you're like, what? Mtu anaamka and shout, and it's like, somebody bursts out. This person has been weighed down by that issue. And you ask, what is the problem? You see this issue, I brought it up last year, I brought it up this year. And you are like, because you have just been taking it lightly. Anytime there is an issue a spouse has brought in the meeting, make sure you discuss it and conclude it. Conclude it either positively or negatively, whichever way. If it cannot work, it's good to tell your spouse, this one, it cannot work. It is not possible. Just disagree on that table and let this spouse go knowing that this thing cannot happen, so that this person does not get built up inside. And that is why it's very important to listen, so that when you listen, you can be able to come up with a solution. Sometimes we listen and we don't listen well, and that is the reason why we don't come up with a solution. So by the time the person is concluding whatever idea is putting across, you are already done with this person. So you don't have answers because you didn't actually even get the idea properly. And after some time, when this person comes up with the same idea, you are like, it's like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And this person had already talked to you about it earlier on. Why? Because you did not listen. And for that reason, you are not able to conclude issues. You keep on going round and round and round issues. Na ndio unaona jamii ina stagnate. You stagnate as a family. You are not able to move because you do not give solutions, or you don't conclude matters and issues when you discuss. So it's very, very important to do it and do it well. do not allow any issue that will weigh you down, both the spouses. You do not allow, do not bring up an issue that will weigh you down. Do not pile up an issue, or rather do not discuss an issue, or rather do not even always avoid issues that can be able to weigh you down as a family. Sometimes, being a married woman, I understand what I'm talking about. Sometimes you can bring up an issue and you find that your spouse is not ready to discuss that issue, and actually even the body language tells you that this issue is not welcome here. Sometimes it's also good, whoever is bringing the issue is also good to have a bigger picture of your family, and to look at the bigger picture of your intimacy and your relationship. And some of these issues, it's just good to put it away. Don't allow any issue that will weigh you down, because some of these things that brings problems in the family are things that can weigh people down, are things that can you persist or you insist on something that you know that your spouse is not so much ready for. And so it's very, very important. It's a two-way traffic. Actually, communication is a two-way traffic. It's very important to know what you're putting across, and it's also good to understand what your spouse can be ready for, or can be able to handle. It's also very, very important to give a feedback. Very, very important to give a feedback immediately. As you discuss the issue, and as you listen to the issue, and as you continue listening, it's very, very important to give a feedback. Very, very important to actually give somebody a tentative answer. Let somebody know the direction you're going to take in this issue. Don't build up hope in somebody and this thing is not going to work. It's very, very important to give feedback. And feedback is very, very important, because anytime there is no feedback, there is no communication. The communication is not complete when there is no feedback. So it's very, very important, as you listen as a spouse, to give feedback to your family, and especially to your children. Many times I find it very, very strange, because the people who don't hardly give feedback are men. You can ask a man something today and he tells you, I will come back to you. And this thing can even stay for a whole week, and even for almost a whole month. And you are like, you have been waiting for feedback and there is no feedback. And you are now left in anxiety. This woman who is a spouse is left in anxiety and does not know what to do. And anxiety is a very bad thing. Anybody who is anxious, it makes this person to live to kind of self-esteem inaenda chini, anakuwa na shida, and you find that an issue can just crop up from nowhere because somebody is anxious. It is good to give a tentative feedback. Tell your spouse what exactly to expect. Mwambie hii kitu, hata kama I'm thinking about it, I don't see any positivity. Hata kama I'm thinking about it, I don't see it working. So let this person go with an idea that I don't have a lot of hopes in this issue. So that this person does not become anxious. But the moment you don't give a feedback and you are like, I'll come back to you after 2 months, I'll come back to you after 1 week, I'll come back to you after 2 days, there is a lot of anxiety. So in a family, it's very, very important to give feedback immediately. And that feedback concludes the issue. So when you actually do a discussion and you give a feedback, you have concluded the issue. So this person does not leave that place hoping for anything that is not going to come. This person goes knowing that this thing cannot work in this family. So you start thinking about plan B. So some people will keep you thinking about the same plan A for a long, long time. And sometimes you want to do a project, and sometimes what you want to do, you have some money and you cannot keep that money. So you want to make sure this money is spent as fast as possible because you can get another job to do with the money. And this person keeps you pending and keeps you waiting. And it builds up anxiety. Inalete shida, mnaanza kukorofishana, you start fighting. Why are you fighting? Just because somebody did not give a feedback. Brethren, it's very important for us to understand. It is good to give a feedback. Even when we pray, we ask God, and many times our God gives a feedback. He gives you or he doesn't give you. You know exactly what to do. You cannot pray for something for 10 years or 20 years. You will always know that this thing, inaonekana image. Let me go for plan B. So give a feedback to give somebody to think about whatever it is that they're talking about. So God bless you so much. Continue watching. This one you can subscribe in my YouTube. I like talking about family. Let's continue talking. God bless you. Amen.